sounds and stylings of legitimate rock and roll gods. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 best vocal guitar duos in rock. For this list, we're counting down the most iconic 1-2 punches in the history of rock and roll. You know, those vocal-guitarist combos that make you want to start a band. Number 10, Morrissey and Johnny Marr, The Smiths. If you're inspired by the very essence of rock and roll of the indie variety, then you've likely been touched by the mojo of these two Manchester musicians.
The boy with a thorn in his side, behind the hatred there lies a murderous desire.
In fact, without the distinct performance style of Johnny Marr, there'd be no Oasis, at least as we know them. And surely there's never been anyone quite like Morrissey, truly a mesmerizing performer and songwriting wizard.
Jumped up country boy who never knew his place. He said, return to me.
But above all, it's the songwriting collaboration of Morrissey and Marr, however brief it was, that forever changed alternative music.
And when you want to live, how'd you start? Where'd you go? Who'd you need to know?
Number 7, Roger Daltrey and Pete Townshend, The Who.
Stands like a statue, the godfather of the machine, feeling all the bumpers, always playing theme.
Today, it's not uncommon to find rock frontmen that play the part, so to speak, and while it's certainly part of any singer's branding, it was Roger Daltrey that set the bar in the mid-1960s, complemented by the power chords of guitarist Pete Townshend. With the vocalist essentially directing the action, Pete innovated the genre by composing not just iconic singles, but full-blown concept albums, thus ushering in a different school of thought leading into the 1970s. And if you grew up in this time, The Who's Roger Daltrey and Pete Townshend weren't just admired, they were gods of rock. Number 8, Zack de la Rocha and Tom Morello, Rage Against the Machine.
In the right light, story becomes inside when the system that they're stuck. Thinking that the reading right, so-called facts of fraud. They wanted to relate to pleasure, bow down into their thought.
Revolution. Some people find a certain chaotic romance in the idea without understanding philosophies, while others put their blood, sweat, and tears into their evolving beliefs. In this case, the combination of Zack de la Rocha and Tom Morello dropped a bomb on the music industry in the early 90s, thrashing it out while incorporating a blend of fundamental rap metal and politically inspired lyrics. The vocal delivery of de la Rocha is simply unmistakable, and if you don't recognize the atypical sound of Morello, well, then you've got some studying to do. Individually, they are musical geniuses, and together, they rage against the machine.
Drawn up by the thoughts I think.
Number 7, Ozzy Osbourne and Randy Rhoads, Ozzy Osbourne. While Black Sabbath was innovating the genre that would become heavy metal, and Ozzy Osbourne was becoming more myth than man, a teenaged Randy Rhoads found himself enamored by the sound of Alice Cooper. By the late 1970s, however, Ozzy went solo, but not entirely, as Randy Rhoads soon became his other half. With the guitarist blending the old with the new through a technical style on par with the greats, the band Ozzy Osbourne influenced a new decade of rock. But sadly, Rhoads' life came to an end just months after the launch of MTV. Number 6. Brian Johnson and Angus Young, AC/DC. With all due respect to the late Bon Scott, who was certainly a monster of rock, the addition of Englishman Brian Johnson to this legendary hard rock outfit in 1980 was certainly electrifying, and not just for his dynamic vocals. Let's say this, it's one thing to appreciate the sound of guitarist Angus Young, but it's another to recognize a performance style that's certainly in line with the spirit of rock and roll. Together, these guys make each live show an experience, and with music that transcended the genre, they became perhaps the coolest rock tag team of the 1980s. Number 5. David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen. Van Halen. Taking cues from Black Sabbath, this duo wreaked havoc on the LA scene long before bands like Motley Crue and Guns N' Roses would do the same. And while David Lee Roth and Eddie Van Halen were known to party in their prime, certainly as part of their pop culture image, every rock critic and devoted fan understands the essence of what made Van Halen tick: pure brilliance on the mic and pure mastery on lead guitar. Not only is Eddie Van Halen regarded as perhaps one of the best rock guitarists ever, nobody compares to the extravagant showmanship of David Lee Roth.
She wants to send him a letter. Yeah. She's trying to make herself feel better.
Number 4. Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, Aerosmith.
What you talk about things you know might well.
So there's been a variety of crazy cool tandems in the history of rock, but then you have crazy sexy cool singer-guitarist combinations. Performers that exude a rare charisma without trying too hard, or so it would seem.
Yes, I'm moving. Yes, I'm moving. Getting ready for the big time. Tap dancing on landmine.
On the mic, there's Steven Tyler, a rail-thin frontman who may look strange at the beach, but looks right at home up on stage, reaching notes that most singers only dream about. And on guitar? Well, Joe Perry's just got that natural groove, an ability to stand there and melt faces with a knowing look. Flamboyant without being cocky, these guys are both raw and inherently cool. Number 3. Axl Rose and Slash, Guns N' Roses. These two maniacs set Hollywood on fire in the late 1980s, with both of them mostly not giving a plate of fudge when it came to the conventional rock behavior. The riffs of Slash are now legendary, along with his dangling cigarette manner of playing. And Axl Rose is both a brilliant vocalist, but an even greater performer, all the while setting a new bar through his musical visions. Axl and Slash, Slash and Axl, there's no Guns N' Roses without these two icons on stage together. Number 2. Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, the Rolling Stones.
And then I'm doing this and I'm a side.
While the endurance of these two blues-inspired musicians is certainly an achievement, it's their lasting cool that continues to blow our mind. In the mid-60s, both Mick Jagger and Keith Richards provided an alternative to the wanting to hold your handiness of the Beatles. The Stones not only brought the house down, but they did so in such an authoritative way that even the most ardent traditionalists had to offer up their respect. We're talking about pure grade rock and roll here, and these two are living proof that some people can do it their way and not be apologetic whatsoever.
Don't make a grown man cry. Don't make a grown man cry.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
Supersonic man out of you.
I want your love.
Number 1, Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin.
I might say I'm gonna leave you.
In 1968, the concepts of war and peace aligned people in different camps, but music remained the constant for everybody. And though rock fans undoubtedly had their favorites, along came a transformative English band that beautifully demonstrated what happens when pure musicians channel their inspirations while fully embracing the art itself. Oh, and then Led Zeppelin turned up the volume with Jimmy Page, effortlessly accomplishing the impossible on stage, while Robert Plant displayed the complete rock and roll package. It's hard to argue just how badass this duo is, as they have gone down in rock and roll history as legends of the genre. So, do you agree with our selections? What do you think is the coolest vocal guitar duo in rock? For more mind-blowing top 10s published daily, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Supersonic man out of you.